Jesus Christ, Obama, this is going to be one long video. Where is Joe at?
You got that right, Donnie. As for Joe, I'm not really sure. I'll shoot him a text.
Is that you, Sleepy Joe? Did you finally decide to wake up and join us?
It's definitely Joe, but not the Joe you're thinking of, Donald.
Well, who the hell is it then? Is this some riddle, Barry? You know I'm not too fond of riddles.
It's me, Big D. Sorry I was hitting a fat blunt and Jamie just pulled up this sick picture of a gorilla. How are you guys doing?
Holy shit, the best Joe to ever exist is in the Discord? I'm doing fantastic, Joe. Can I see the gorilla?
Oh, absolutely. Hold on a sec. Yo, Jamie, send that picture of the gorilla into the Discord.
That is one fancy-ass gorilla.
I agree, Barry. Look at that thing. I can't believe that gorilla is exuding more riz than the average human. Nature truly is a treasure.
That's literally what I told Jamie. This gorilla is the definition of Riz. I guarantee he's getting that Gorlussy on the regular.
No doubt. I mean, look at that posture, that stance. Take a few tips from the gorilla, Donnie.
You know what, Barack? I could easily say something about you and that gorilla, but I just know that's not going to end well. So just for you, I'll ignore what you said.
Sorry, fellas, I was napping a bit longer than I meant to.
About fucking time, Sleepy Joe.
Oh my gosh, good one, Donnie calling him Sleepy Joe when his real name is Joe. God, that's funny.
Who the hell is that? My Joe senses are tingling.
That's just the dementia kicking in, Joey. And by the way, that's Joe Rogan, the real Alpha Joe.
Oh, wow. Joe Rogan? Don't you run that podcast where you make all those animal noises?
Hell yeah, I do, Mr. President. Yo, Jamie, pull up my favorite animal noise clip.
Fellas, I hate to interject, but this tier list isn't going to sort itself, and considering it was made by Swag Kage, you know this shit is long, so I'd rather get started as soon as possible.
Holy shit, Barry Swag Kage made this tier list? He's my favorite Naruto creator.
He's a good content creator, but his love for those filthy Uchihas rustles my jimmies.
Russell's your jimmies. Jamie, can we get a clip of Trump's jimmies?
Absolutely not, Joe. Please, no one wants to see that.
Oh, I beg to differ, Barack. I truly do beg to differ.
Can we stop talking about Trump's cheese balls and just tell the good people watching what the criteria for the tier list is?
Thanks for putting us back on course, Joe. This is why you were my VP. Anyway, the criteria for this tier list will, of course, take into account the clout and drip like usual. But I want us to put a particular focus on how big an impact these characters made towards other characters throughout the Naruto show and, of course, Shippuden.
I took the liberty of creating a don't give a shit tier for those useless Boruto characters.
Honestly, a good call, Trump. Does anyone even watch Boruto?
Plenty of people watch Boruto and plenty of people enjoy it. Why don't we rank them too?
Your inner synapses must really not be firing if you think I'm going to let any of that garbage onto the tier list.
Boruto is a good show, you head of the Oompa Loompa head-ass bitch.
God damn it, shut the fuck up, you two. This video is already going to be long as it is without you two squabbling every 5 seconds.
Hey, Obama, since those two are popping off, can I do the first villain?
Of course, go ahead, Joe. Thank you for wanting to stay on task.
Thanks, Barry. So Mizuki was like the first dickhead ever introduced in Naruto, and other than the filler arc, I don't recall whether we ever even see him again. But for the brief time that we did see him, I think his impact was unironically huge to the story.
Care to elaborate on that, Mr. Rogan, because you're starting to sound like Sleepyhead over there.
Hey, come on, man. It's late. I get tired.
Jesus Christ, Joe, it's only 7:30. Anyway, you were saying, Rogan?
Well, think about it, you guys. Obviously, Mizuki is just a fodder ninja with trash tier drip. But his attack on Naruto and Iruka was what caused Iruka to give that whole speech about how Naruto is a precious student to him, basically giving Naruto the first piece of positive affirmation he's ever received. The poor guy spent his whole life being hated on by everyone, including his teacher. Yet here's that same teacher telling this cock goblin that he cherishes him as a student. Made my protein-filled heart skip a beat. I cried with the little guy.
Wow, other Joe, that really makes a lot of sense. I never really looked at it from that angle.
You make a valid point, Mr. Rogan, and I respect that. However, since the guy only had one real purpose, I think we should still put him in D tier.
I agree. I was ready to put him in F tier, honestly, but you made a valid point, Joe.
I concur with D tier. He was a great starting point for the show, and watching his ass get pounded by all of Naruto's clones will never not be iconic.
All right, D tier it is. Now, how about... damn, fellas, I actually don't remember the names of these two horn-wearing bastards.
No one does, Barry. They're dog shit F-tier fodder that get nailed by Kakashi. Kind of like how you used to nail stuff with drones.
Oof, got him. Trump roast his ass.
Oh, just you wait, Joe. I'm still cooking. You gotta let me cook.
Big talk coming from a one-termer, but I do agree F tier for the horny nobodies.
Got him, Barry. Roast his ass.
Just because both of your names are Joe doesn't mean you have to say the same thing, sleepyhead.
Oh, yeah? Well, just because your name's Donald doesn't mean you have to act like a giant pussy.
Oh shit, Joey is bringing that presidential authority into the chat. Moving on, I think Zabuza is a fantastic villain. His sword is iconic and his backstory is straight savage. I mean, the guy murdered his entire class and then went to a life of crime. Even though he eventually dies, his lasting impact on Naruto himself can't be understated. Not to mention, this is the first time we get to see Naruto's talk no jutsu for the first time. The Land of Waves is awesome, A tier.
I think A tier is very fair for Zabuza. Jamie, can you pull a picture of his wicked sword? So fucking cool.
I agree, Joe. The sword is definitely worthy of praise, but Barack and Sleepy Joe both know my feelings on the talk no jutsu.
Get over it, Donald. Both Zabuza and Haku are A-tier villains, so I'm going to go ahead and throw her into A-tier. God, Haku is really fine, isn't she?
Haku is a guy, Joe.
What do you mean?
Not only is Haku a guy, he's also underage Creepy Joe. Double whammy for you.
Oh, dear God.
Yikes. Jamie, pull up a picture of Haku's balls.
Absolutely not. Fuck it. Put them both in A tier and let's move past this shit. By the way, Joe, I'm never letting you live this down, just FYI.
Fuck off, Donnie. At least he's fake. Tell me, what's the weather like at Epstein's Island?
Hey, so Gato is pretty fucking lame, right? D tier?
D tier? What are you talking about? He's a brilliant businessman.
I don't think hiring assassins to kill an old man in order to stop him from building a bridge is a good business practice.
It's that attitude that'll prevent you from becoming a billionaire, Mr. Rogan.
Whatever you say, Mr. Art of the Deal. Now let's move on to Gara. I mean, do we even have to talk about him as a villain? Easy A tier.
Perfect choice for A tier. I mean, he's a good foe for Naruto. He's basically a visual representation of what could have happened to Naruto had he followed the path of hate. And his redemption is wonderfully constructed. I still get watery eyes thinking about the entire Sand Village supporting Gara when he's brought back to life by Granny Chiyo. Real gangster shit. Pour one out for all the homies we lost along the way.
So true, Barack. Pour one out for the homies.
You hear that, Sleepy Joe? Pour one out for the homies? I guess you can use your dementia pills since you ain't got no Malt 45.
You sure I'll pour one out for all the one-term presidents we lost along the way?
Fuck you.
Love you too, Donnie.
Hey, Barack, you mind if I do Kabuto?
As long as you don't mention how in tune with nature he is, I know your ass is just waiting for an excuse to talk about DMT.
Oh, well, I guess, well, I wasn't, hey, Trump, you want to do Kabuto?
Sure thing, Alpha Joe. That Orochimaru wannabe can go into B tier.
B tier? Come on, Donnie, he has a big impact on the story.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who brought all the dead ninjas back to life in the war arc. He single-handedly prolonged the war with his tactics.
Yeah, and that same tactic gets his ass bitch made by Itachi. Kabuto's motivation is dog water. B tier, though, because he does become a perfect sage. And I'm sure he would have a hell of a time on a DMT trip.
Holy shit, Donald, I was thinking the exact same thing. Jamie, pull up that video of my last DMT trip.
Baby's okay. Fucking crazy 800-pound silverback bursting through the trees.
Holy shit, Other Joe, that didn't look like you were having a good time.
Correct, Mr. President. I wasn't having a good time. I was having a great time.
I'm sure you were. Smokey Joe? Ha ha ha, these nicknames write themselves.
Fakest laugh I've ever heard, you orange tree stump.
I'm sure you haven't heard many laughs in your life, considering your sense of humor is drier than Michelle's puss.
Leave my wife out of this, you fat fuck. At least mine's American. How are those Russian investments doing?
My investments are S tier, unlike our next pick on the tier list, Orochimaru, who goes in B tier along with his pay pig Kabuto.
Donnie, I just took a fat bong rip of some OG Deathclaw Kush, and even I know that Orochimaru deserves A tier at least. I mean, he was the first major threat introduced to Naruto, not to mention his invasion of the village led to the death of the third Hokage.
I agree with Mr. Rogan. You have such dog shit takes Trump. It's amazing to me that you still don't understand why you lost the election when you spit straight trash out of your mouth.
You know all about trash, you fucking walking corpse. Orochimaru does in fact invade the village, but the third Hokage killed himself and took that slithering bastard's arms with him. He's B tier.
Sorry, Fake Tan Donnie, we got 3 picks for A tier and only 1 pick for B tier, just another win for democracy. Orochimaru is A tier.
Whatever fine you bozos can put the child predator into A tier. It suits your character. Now can we speed things up and throw Itachi into S tier?
Easy S tier, tragic story of a pacifist forced to kill his entire clan. Man, that shit really hurts. Jamie, pack me another bowl with OG purple lean fire, would ya?
Not even the Oompa Loompa can fuck up how great Itachi is. What a king.
Unlike you, I'm not a moron, Joe. And Itachi killing those filthy Uchihas will always and forever be mega-based, real legend. Death to all Uchiha.
Are you seriously making one of your main points for S tier the fact that Itachi killed his clan? What the fuck is wrong with you, Donnie?
Yes, indeed, Obunga. Maybe if the Uchiha weren't such wimps, they could have survived. Now move on to Kisame.
I'm leaning on B tier. Kisame doesn't look like he'd ever do shrooms.
Why is that a criteria for you, other Joe?
Mr. President, with all due respect, I'm tripping balls right now. Can we just put the shark in B tier? You're really killing my high.
I mean, B tier is probably fair anyway. He was a good Akatsuki member, but he ends up killing himself, much like every other Akatsuki member. Now that I think about it, his sword and design were always cool. I have a 1-to-1 replica of the sharkskin sword hanging on my wall. Michelle hates it, but I ain't ever taken that shit down on God.
Based Barack.
I mean, I still think he should be an A tier, but B tier is fair.
Can we put the Sound Ninja 4, or should I say the Sound Ninja Boars in C tier because they were all mid as fuck? They show up and die. That's their whole purpose.
I think their designs were all right, but the first time I watched them on TV, I was tripping on 16 tabs of acid, and they scared the fuck out of me when they transformed. So I never really liked them after that. I'd put them in C tier.
Jesus Christ, man, 16 tabs?
Oh yeah, 16 tabs and about 7 Gs of shrooms. Wild night.
Based as fuck.
I don't think drugs are based, but I agree on them going into C tier, but I'd like to put Kimmimaru in B tier. His fights with Gara and Rock Lee are iconic, and he totally would have killed them both if he wasn't sick.
I agree with B tier. He had one of the most unique powers in all of Naruto. I wish Kishimoto didn't kill his cool villains so quickly.
Yeah, I feel the same way about you, Joe. I wish you'd stop killing our country.
Shut it, you fear-mongering dunce.
Skill issue, sleepyhead.
Speaking of skill issues, let's toss the 3 sound nobodies into D tier. They're just kind of there. They don't do anything really. One gets his arms broken by Sasuke, one gets beaten by Shikamaru, and the masked bandit-looking douche just gets one tap by Gara. All of them are so lame.
I agree, Barry, D tier.
Yeah, D tier sounds good. Jamie, pull up that clip of Desu getting absolutely obliterated by Gara.
Ha ha ha, what a fucking scrub D tier for all those losers.
All right, gentlemen, I think that's a good place to stop for now. This video is going to be hella long as it is, so let's split it into 2 parts.
I agree, Barry. Plus, it's good business sense. So you know how bricked up I get when good business is involved. I'm going to go and pork Melania while listening to the McDonald's theme song. See you next time.
I think the tier list is looking good so far, Barack. Call me when we are doing part 2.
All right, Mr. Rogan, any parting words before we end this video?
I see sound and smell colors. Barack, the elves are after me. Holy shit, I took way too much. Jamie, help. Fuck, kick.
God, that guy really needs to lay off the DMT. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I will be working on part 2 as soon as I can. Even though I'm no longer president, I still got a lot of stuff on my plate. But I will do my best to get part 2 out as soon as I can. Your boy Barry is back on that bullshit. Leave a like if you a real player. Obama out.